Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a final year medical student at Cambridge University. And in this video, I'm going to be answering various questions, some of them about medicine applications and some of them about like general life as like a 5,000 subscriber milestone, because that's like a thing that people do on YouTube. So firstly, yeah, 5k subscribers. Thank you very much if you subscribe to this channel. If you haven't, there's still time. You can click the subscribe button down below and up there and everywhere. Because I value your time, as always, there's going to be timestamps in the description to every single question. So anyway, yeah, let's go into it and we'll start with question number 1. Is medicine really for me if I've always had doubts about it? At the same time, I don't know what else I would do at uni, and what could you do from just a normal science degree? This is a good question. This, honestly, is sort of the position I was in. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I applied for medicine, so I thought, like, it's quite a varied degree, it's pretty broad. I thought that 6 years at university was going to be better than 3 years at university, which is why I decided to go for a medicine degree, and it was the best decision I've ever made, and I would like not look back. People sometimes say that, you know, you should only apply for a medicine degree if you're really sure that you want to do medicine. But I think that's not really, I wouldn't give that advice personally. I think it's unfair to expect someone to know at the age of 16 or 17 that they want to become a doctor for the rest of the 50 years of their life. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say, you know what, I'm going to apply for medicine because I like the idea of studying a medicine degree, even if I'm not 100% sure about being a doctor yet. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, apply for medicine. If you think that's what you want to do, or even if you think that's the only thing you might want to do. Yeah, medicine is amazing. I'm applying to medicine next year. Do you think that taking up a position of responsibility of head girl / school counsel would really help a med school application, or if it's a bit overrated? Interesting question. I didn't have any position of responsibility at school other than being a prefect. I mentioned the fact I was a prefect on my personal statement. It, I think, had less than 0 impact on my application. I think if I was head boy, it would have had a little bit of impact, but overall, I think I don't think there's much to be worried about. I think if you do have a chance to go for head boy or head girl, go for it, because it puts you in a nice position to be in with your school. It gives you like good links, gives you good relationships with members of staff, we hope, and is a good way of like genuinely getting the skills that you might need later on in life. But like just for the sake of it, I probably wouldn't want to do it, as in if your only reason for wanting to do it is because it'll help your medicine application. Equally, something like school council, run for it if you really want it, but don't run for it if you think that I'm doing this because it'll impact my medicine application, because likely it's not really going to have any effect at all. Also, to be honest, when it comes to interviews and they ask you stuff about, you know, your experiences of leadership or teamwork, it's more about what you've done in these roles than about the role themselves. Like the fact that you're a head girl or head boy doesn't matter at all. But if you helped organize something like orchestrated an old people's charity dinner or whatever you do in school, that's the kind of stuff you can talk about, and it almost doesn't matter what title you have. So yeah, in conclusion, don't go for things just because you think it'll help your medicine application. Go for them if you really want them, because really it's not going to matter that much for your application. All right, question number 4. Would universities like it if you viewed being a doctor as more of a scientist than a caregiver, if that makes sense, or would that seem too cold? Honestly, I think it depends where you go. Some Oxbridge colleges are all about the whole research thing, but in general, people interviewing you for medicine admissions at almost all universities would prefer you to view being a doctor as something about caring for patients, rather than I'm doing a medicine degree so I can go into research, if that makes sense. So the short answer is yes, universities do like it more if you can view being medicine as like a caring thing, rather than purely a sort of a coldly scientific thing, if that makes sense. Okay, question number 5, I think we're at. What extracurriculars would you suggest for building a strong CV during medical school? Honestly, like, your extracurriculars during medical school aren't really that important in terms of building a strong CV, because by the time you're applying for jobs, like the foundation job, it matters not at all what extracurriculars you're doing. I think if you're applying for an academic foundation program and you're an Olympic medalist, you get a few extra points for that. But honestly, no one really cares about your extracurricular activities. I think pick the extracurriculars that you enjoy and that you enjoy doing, that like help you develop skills generally, rather than picking them again on the basis of I think this will help me further down the line. Okay, so that was 5 questions about medicine application, medical, student-y stuff. Now we're transitioning a little bit more into personal territory. If you're still here, then thank you for watching. Question number 6 is, what do you enjoy most about medicine? What's your favorite specialty? Okay, my favorite specialty at the moment is obstetrics and gynecology. I like the fact that it's a mixture of medicine and surgery, because I quite like the idea of operating, but I also quite like the idea of being in a clinic. I also quite like the fact that within obstetrics, you're like helping babies come into the world, which is generally quite a happy thing, and the patients are generally sort of young and healthy, whereas a lot of medical specialties deal with, you know, sort of chronic conditions, and I think I'd find it more exciting dealing with young healthy patients with this kind of happy event coming into their life. So that's why that's currently my favorite specialty these days. Maybe that'll change. I'll keep you guys updated if it does. The thing I enjoy most about medicine, I think, is the teamwork aspect of it. I really like the fact that you and your team of doctors and seniors and juniors and nurses and physios and everyone else, you're all like working together for the benefit of the patient. And there's like good banter on the teams, good banter on the wards, and you like it's that team dynamic that makes it really fun. And it's that team dynamic that's the thing I've enjoyed most about being in clinical school as well, when we're on placements and sort of where there's like 3-4 of us on a surgery placement going to the middle of nowhere. It's because we're all working together that's really fun. Obviously there are other things about medicine, the intellectual challenge, the caring for people and all of that. But for me personally, I think it's the teamwork aspect that I enjoy the most. Question number 6 or 7, I think I've lost count at this point. How did you get into medical education / public engagement? Interesting question. I got into medical education because I saw an opportunity to make a bit of money. I ran a BMAT course for some students at my school when I was like in first year of university, and they seemed to really like it. And then I decided to one day use my web design skills to kind of build a website around this, the BMAT crash course, and sort of market it nationally, because I thought, why not? And that ended up getting bigger than I could have imagined. So the reason I got into medical education was because I started off this little course to help some kids at my school, and then it turned into like a money-making opportunity. So that was kind of these last 5 years what I've been doing with SixMed, my company. But now, it sounds kind of bad to say, but I don't really care about making money from education anymore. I think I've grown to really enjoy just medical education and education generally for its own sake. So that's why I started this YouTube channel. That's why I sort of enjoy doing teaching sessions. I'm not getting any money for it, but that doesn't matter. It's just fun to do the education thing. I think in a way it's kind of that thing of the more you do something, the more you enjoy it. And because I spent 5 years teaching BMAT and interview courses, I therefore grew to like the process of education and sort of teaching people, which is why I'm into that. So yeah, that was how I got into it. Okay, to question number 8, I think we're on, is I've started a WordPress blog about medicine, prospective student, but I'm struggling to get the word out. How did you start / do you have any tips? Oh, interesting. I will link this guy's blog, Jaden G. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll link his blog over here and in the description below so you can check it out. Hopefully that'll give him maybe 1 or 2 extra readers. Honestly, if you're starting something, then don't really expect to get any readers or any viewers anytime soon. Most advice that I've come across from podcasts and books regarding anything, any kind of creative endeavor, is that for the first few months to years, you're going to be just shouting into the void. You're going to be writing stuff consistently, or you should be writing stuff consistently and not giving a toss at all about whether anyone's reading it. The idea is that at some point, when your writing improves and when the right combination of circumstances happens, people will stumble upon your work, and at that point it'll be really useful for them to see this backlog that, oh, this person's been publishing a medical article every single week. That's incredible. And then they'll become your loyal fans. But there is absolutely no point in trying to get the word out there when you've got 1 or 2 posts on your site. Make it a consistent thing. Make sure you're writing high quality stuff on a regular basis, and the readers will follow over time. Don't worry about it in the short term. Okay, so our next question, which is question number 8, I think, is, was there ever a point where you wanted to drop out of university? The answer to that is, for me, honestly, there has never been a point where I've wanted to drop out of university. I know not everyone has this experience. I know a lot of people find university a struggle, and people do drop out for various reasons. For me personally, that's never been a thing. There's a good Chris Pratt quote. He said this in an interview one time. He said that every year since the age of 3 has been the best year of my life, and I would probably agree with that. Like, every year just seems to keep getting better and better. By luck or the grace of God or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, for me personally, I've never felt ever the need to drop out of university, but I appreciate that that's not everyone's experience. Yeah. Okay, next question. Question 10 or question 9? Don't know. How do you manage your time? I want to be more productive and get everything done without procrastinating. There will be a very detailed video about this in the next couple of weeks at some point. In general, a few tips. Firstly, motivation is pretty much a myth, and we should be using discipline instead to get stuff done. There's a good quote that goes something along the lines of, you don't wait to get into Olympic form before training, you train in order to get into Olympic form. So it's just about breaking this link that we have between, I need to feel like doing something before I do something. The answer is just, you just do something and you'll develop the motivation and the enjoyment later on. That's something I find useful. Secondly, most of my procrastinatory activities personally are quite productive in themselves, in that it would either be playing on the piano a bit or like browsing some like web design inspiration or stuff like that. That helps me be more productive in other spheres of my life, or like watching some tutorial on YouTube about how to vlog, or watching a vlog and taking tips mentally about, you know, how they're doing it, how they're doing the edits, stuff like that. So I think it's useful to have semi-productive procrastinatory methods. But yeah, those are two things that are just off the top of my head, but I have planned out like a legit video about this that'll be on the channel in the next few weeks. Right, question number 11. How do you deal with rejection/failure? Again, there will be a video on this in the channel in the next couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, probably this month at some point. In general, I really like stoicism as a sort of philosophy on dealing with rejection, and it's that classic serenity prayer, that God give me the serenity to accept that which I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And when it comes to rejection, that then falls into the sphere of things that we have no control over. The only two things we have any control over are our own thoughts and our own actions. So if someone has rejected us from, you know, romantically or academically or like professionally, that was something that we didn't really have any control over. We hopefully did the best we could, but it was then in their hands, and therefore, you know, there's absolutely no point in even thinking about that or even sort of dwelling on it. We'll use it as a learning experience, reframing failure as, yeah, this is an experience I've learned from this is what I'm going to take away from it, and we move on with our lives, because we gain absolutely nothing from dwelling about this stuff. I really like stoicism as like a way of living to kind of reduce negative emotions and all that. But yeah, that was slightly rambly. I'll talk about it more in the actual video on how to deal with rejection, but really good question. Okay, so question number 11, I think we're on, is what inspires you? It's a very general question. I think, so professionally, when I meet doctors who are really nice to their patients, but also who really know their stuff, who are really good at teaching the students, and who also take it all with good humor. Like, they don't take it too seriously. They don't consider themselves like the kings of the world for being doctors. They don't have this attitude that a lot of medics and doctors have, that oh my god, I work so hard and medicine is such a hard thing. People who have that attitude, and I've met quite a few of them in my time, those are really inspirational figures, and I kind of hope to emulate them one day. With this whole YouTube thing, you're watching this video on YouTube if you're at this point, there are a few YouTubers. Gary Vaynerchuk is one, Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon. These are people who've built audiences from the ground up, who have really good work. They deliver a lot of value consistently for free, and they've built, there's this sort of personal brand. They've built this sort of business around the fact that they're just providing value to people, and either in the context of entertainment, or like photography tutorials, or like life entrepreneurship advice. So it's sort of people like that I like watching on YouTube, and that I sort of feel inspired to attempt to emulate. Okay, these next two questions are, I think, from various friends of mine. So 4 of my Asian friends asked me varying degrees of, have you got any tips on how to get married? When do I plan to get married? And so on. We'll leave that for another video, but I will refer you to Dina Tokyo and her husband's YouTube channel, which is good if you want to know more about marriage, and that'll be linked in the description below. And finally, I think is another banter question from one of my friends, is how do you stay so humble? What are the secrets to your everyday look? And what is life like post 5K subscribers? That's a good one. How do I stay so humble? Let's ignore that one. What are the secrets to your everyday look? It's all about wearing a grey t-shirt and wearing black jeans, and I wear like the same black jeans every day and wash them very occasionally. Yeah, it's all about like the minimalist look. You just decide a look and you just wear it every day because you realize that no one really cares, and provided you have like a well-fitting t-shirt and you occasionally go to the gym, then it'll all work out. And finally, her question is, what is life like post 5K? Which is clearly that's a banter question, but I think it does raise a wider point, that about this whole thing about having milestones. When people say that when I hit 100,000 subscribers, then something, or when I get that 3-bedroom house, then I'll be happy. When I get that raise, then I'll be happy. When I make $1 million, then I'll be. And you know, invariably, that's obviously never the case. It's more, as you know, in the immortal words of Miley Cyrus, it's about the climb. You know, it's not about reaching the destination. There is an absolutely incredible article written by a programmer I follow called DHH. He runs a company called Basecamp, which is a software company. It's an article on Medium, linked here and down below, and it's entitled "The Day I Became a Millionaire." And he's talking about the story of how he felt when Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, decided to buy a tiny stake in his company for a few million. So he and his business partners suddenly became a few $1 million richer pretty much overnight. And he talks about the feelings he had when he saw this money in his bank account and the stuff he bought. And ultimately he says that actually he realized that, you know, the things he wanted to do were, you know, continue programming, continue working on his company, continue spending time with his friends and family. you don't need $1 million for that. So yeah, clearly, you know, what is life like post 5K? Life post 5K is absolutely no different to life post 1K or even, you know, post 200 subscribers, because I'm enjoying the process of making these videos and connecting with you guys. It's nice in a way having a bigger audience, because then, you know, I get more comments, and if I, you know, ask something, a poll on Instagram, follow me on Instagram please, or if I ask people to send questions in for a 5K subscribers Q&A, then there are obviously more questions coming in than there were when I was at 200 subscribers. But I mean, honestly, apart from that, it's no different. It's about the climb, as Miley Cyrus says. I'll link the Spotify to the song down below. So that brings us to the end of this 5K Q&A. Thank you very much for watching. If you've seen this far, again, 5,000 subscribers, absolutely incredible. Thank you so much if you're a subscriber. If you're not, you can click the subscribe button, because I make videos most weeks about like life as a medical student, and occasionally like educational stuff about how to get into medicine, and I'm branching out, hopefully into singing songs with my medic friends, and more videos like aimed at medical students themselves, so like tips for OSCEs and how to write essays and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. You're amazing. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video.